Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for All Stars 2, the finale, the final episode. I don't think they're doing a reunion. Maybe they are. I don't know. My name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
And remotely by my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? And I just want to say, I may be joining you remotely, but I am in person joined by the love of my life, who I will go into detail about at some point down the road. But little tease there. It's like, it's like Spider-Man No Way Home, right? You had all these little teasers.
I'd be careful because if you get too, you don't want.
No, I'm not going to talk about. I'm just saying, like, you had the teasers, you had the.
I'm
trailers,
pretty sure. By
right?
the way, we talked about Spider-Man in the last podcast.
Yeah, well, it's good enough to talk about it 2 weeks in a row. But
yes,
I'm joined by her. I'm also she's not going to be on the pod, but I'm also joined by my dog.
Yeah. So I don't even want to say that because that's a spoiler for No Way Home.
Okay.
Y'all
good? Everybody good? Hans just got back from Pitch and Forge.
Pitch and Forge.
Pitch and Forge.
Pitch and
Yeah,
Forge.
so
I was pitching forges everywhere.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Initially, we were going to record Friday after watching the finale Thursday night. Then it turned out a lot of people that we know ended up having COVID, and people that we were around.
Yeah, all of those, a lot of people I was around.
Yeah, Jake was around.
Yeah.
And so I dropped his mic off for him, and actually I left it outside, and you came and got it. And so then Hannah had to leave, and Jake and I were going to record, and then a lot of other stuff came up having to do with COVID. Honestly, there are more people right now that I know personally that have COVID than probably the entirety of the pandemic. Like, it's dozens of people that I know.
It's almost everybody we know.
Yeah, and it's not even people who like hang out together. It's like
No, it's just like, oh, everybody I know, whether they know each other or not.
within like the last month, it's just like gone crazy. And so Jake had to go get tested. Luckily, your stuff came back negative.
I'm good, yeah.
But we have a lot of people we know that are positive right now.
But it was the right thing to do, right? Because I knew I had been around a lot of people, and so the right thing to do was to go get tested. And thankfully, I am negative, but I'm positive that I'm negative.
Yeah,
Positively negative.
I'm positively negative. So
yeah, and Hannah and I have been fine.
Yeah.
We had actually just got tested like the week before because we'd been around some people for Christmas, family that ended up having it, but we got no symptoms. We got nothing. Jake's got no symptoms, so.
Yeah, we're totally fine.
We should be good to go, but we have just for the sake of keeping everything separate because Jake now, some of his family has had it, and it's just like there's no need to like risk spreading it even more because it seems like everyone's got it right now.
Yeah, well, the only symptom I have is all the love in the world for you two.
Yeah, that's not one. For the band U2.
Yeah.
You really are a big Bono fan.
I tell you what, that song that was on the Batman Forever soundtrack.
I think you've talked about
Hold
this
Me,
before.
Kiss Me, Thrill Me, something.
I don't know, but here's the thing is when I was in college, Jake was like, "Hey, can you download me the Batman Forever soundtrack?" So I had to find a torrent of it to download because he's like, "I really just want to listen to that," and he's talking about "Kiss from a Rose."
Seal, yeah.
But that's my only knowledge of it was that I found you a bootleg copy of it probably 15 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that.
On a list of like movie soundtracks, that's up there. That's a great soundtrack.
You know, I can't other than "Kiss from a Rose." I don't think I know any other song from it.
Which score is better? That Batman movie or
there's a difference between a score and a soundtrack.
He's right,
soundtrack.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. Which sound? I can't think of words. Which soundtrack is better? That one or The Lion King?
Well, you're talking about a whole different sort of.
Yeah, because those are original songs for the movie.
You never know.
I do think that's kind of apples to oranges.
I do, yeah.
But if you had to pick an apple or an orange, which one would you pick?
Give me the apple.
Which one does the apple represent?
Well, let's put it this way. Jake had me download him a copy of Batman Forever. He didn't say, "Hey, could you give me the Lion King soundtrack?"
Here's the deal: is I actually like apples, like the actual fruit. But if you're talking about what flavored like drinks or candy I like, give me orange all day.
Yeah.
I'll take neither. can't flavored things. I like oranges and I like apples.
Yeah, green apples.
As they are.
Green apple flavored stuff sucks.
Hey, Fuji.
But green apples themselves are great.
Yeah, Fuji and is it Gala?
Gala.
Gala apples are actually super underrated. And
Neither one of those have anything on a late fall Honeycrisp apple.
No.
That's a game changer. That's the best apple on the planet.
Well, to be fair, she can't have like apples with like peanut butter, like like the Granny Smith apples like that.
But a Honeycrisp apple doesn't need it. It's sweet and sour at the same time. It's incredible.
Well,
and they're probably like the prettiest apples out there.
Right.
They're just like very photogenic apples.
Yeah, that's how I categorize my apples.
Yeah,
those are the most photogenic.
I like my apples based on how good they look in pictures.
Yeah. Well, Jake, we have a couple of quick shout outs we got to get to before we get into the episode.
Hold on. Is it shout outs or shouts out?
It's shout outs because shout out is the singular, and so shout outs would be the plural. This has never been an issue before.
I just thought of it.
Great.
I'm deliriously tired
Jake,
today.
Do you want to go ahead and knock those out?
Man. What's the names? Who we got here?
So this is for our patrons. If you join patreon.com/smashingitspodcast, which because of all of this COVID stuff, we had to push our recording of some stuff that we were going to do for this week. But it's the first one is our friend Ross, and the reason we're redoing it is because originally you did one with a very
horrible.
I was going to say not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Not accurate. Inaccurate.
Yeah, inaccurate British accent.
Right.
And so I think he just wants the plain American take.
Yeah. All right. You want me to do a clean break here?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get it clean.
All right. I need to do the clap take because that's what you call what you taught me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey Ross, how you doing tonight? Good.
Great. I think that'll work.
All right.
Yeah. So now then you got to get Dylan.
Okay.
Dylan B. He didn't message us with any sort of preference, so I'm gonna let you take the wheel on this one. Whatever you're feeling.
Another clap take. Ready?
Okay. Yeah. So they know the break.
Let me do
that. Now he's got to clap
now
again.
I got to clap again. Here we go. Hey, Dylan B. How you doing tonight?
And that's not our friend Dylan B from back in high school.
Or my friend Dylan B,
it's
who's
the
same Dylan
it's
B.
The same guy.
But we know him separately.
Yeah.
And then we have Becky with the good hair.
I don't know if that's it. It's Becky.
Right.
I don't know if she's who Beyonce wrote a song about.
Right.
You don't know that she's not.
We don't know that if she allegedly cheated with. Helped Jay-Z cheat on Beyonce. I don't know. It'd be pretty amazing if that was the case.
That's a good icebreaker.
So, but yeah, let's get that one clean.
Hey Becky, how you doing tonight?
I feel like you tried to make that one sexy or something.
I was going to say sensual.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, somebody that I follow on Instagram, he's actually a guitar builder. He posted it was a meme, and it's like I think about all the time that in one of the Backstreet Boys songs that they are like doing a call and response to each other, and he asks all of his friends, "Hey, am I sexual?" And they're all like, "Yeah." And
that's kind of weird, isn't it?
I know, and
I know what song you're thinking of because it goes, "Am I sexual?"
Yeah. And they all just in unison think. But if you watched the Disney Channel original concerts that they did back in the late 90s,
they don't have that in there.
They say, "Am I sensual?" Which is the
that
same. It's the same thing.
better?
I don't know, but I guess it doesn't have the word sex in it. Because I remember as a little kid, I didn't really know what sensual meant. I knew what
you sang it
sexual
in front
meant.
of your mom and she got upset?
No, I just was like, I don't really know what that. I was like, I think it's the same.
Honestly,
I don't know why they changed it.
I think sensual sounds a little more grimy.
But I guess because it
Yeah.
doesn't have sex in the word.
But sensual sounds
Disney
gross.
had those like censors, and they're like, "No, sir, you can't, Nick, you can't do that here."
But you can do something really similar.
Yeah. So Shout out to the Backstreet Boys for that one. Shouts outs like Hannah wants.
I do love the Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, Backstreet Boys are in sync every day.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
We've already talked about this before. We're not doing this here.
This is the hill that Jake and I will die on together.
100%.
Good. Let's get into the finale for All Stars 2. I got to pull my notes up real quick.
I ain't even got my notes pulled up, Zach.
Yeah. So, I'd say from what I've seen in our Slack group, which is, again, part of patreon.com/SmashingHits podcast, it's kind of split on if people liked the finale or didn't.
I got to tell you, I really like finales structured like this.
I thought this finale was fine. I did think that there was obviously some flaws in it, but I didn't mind it.
I liked it. There was clearly an element of like just pure difficulty from just the amount of mileage they had to go through all that, which sounded brutal.
Yeah.
And then like I actually like really like the concept of there are these 3-4 different sections. Pick whichever
you can do
order.
them in whatever order.
I actually really like that because it's just kind of chaos in a sense, you know.
And you don't have everyone just running over each other. I don't mind that at all. There was apparently a fourth thing, like a separate puzzle, like on phase 2 that they just completely cut out of the edit that just didn't even make it. But then also like, I mean, there were still some flaws. I mean, it's a production thing. Like, there's always gonna be stuff. There's always gonna be things that end up like not making the cut.
Well, and
we don't see.
I'll say this: I read today, and a little bit of a spoiler alert here. If you're listening, we're assuming you know who the winner is.
Yeah.
But supposedly, Janelle did some sort of interview or said something on like an IG Live or something.
Challenge Mania too. She did Challenge Mania podcast
that
too.
Basically, they had their combination right. The safe just wouldn't open.
Well, I was gonna save all that, but yeah, it's every team had the combination right, but MJ and John A were there first, and that the safes apparently didn't work the way you're supposed to, or they didn't tell them how to correctly put in the combination or something like that.
But we saw that, right? Like that was on.
I know, but that, okay. So I'll just get into it from what I've seen, because again, I didn't listen to the Janelle interview or watch her Instagram live or anything, but I'm getting all this from our patrons. Do a good job of keeping me filled into all the stuff
ins and outs
from Reddit and the Instagram, things like that. So apparently at one point, MJ and John A were the first ones there, and they were trying to get their thing, and it wasn't working. The safe was not working. And no one else was there yet. And so production's like, you know what? You guys got it. You got the right combination. Just run to the plane and hold your bag and we'll fix it in post or whatever. And so they do. They get they're running towards the plane. Apparently they get halfway down the runway and a pickup truck comes screaming by and is like, get in. You got to go back. You weren't doing it right. And so then they had to jump in the back of the truck and drive all the way back to the safe again. And by that point, the other teams had caught up and wherever. And so they were freaking out because production had really screwed this up and had told them that they'd won and go ahead. And then it just so happened that something else, that this is where the whole Janelle thing came in, that apparently she feels like MJ and John A were given an extra step that they were supposed to do that no one else was given. And I don't know if that's the case or not, but John A and MJ were the first ones there. They had the combination right. It's the safes weren't opening, and so and this came up in the Slack group today was, this was filmed after Spies, Lies, and Allies, and so it's we saw the finale of Spies, Lies, and Allies. They had those big fake safes, and then they get to the podium. The podium is just plywood and then a number pad that's not connected to anything. They had to say the combinations out loud. That's how they were checking if you had the right 20 number combination or whatever. And so they could have done the same thing here and just been like, okay, yeah, you got the right combination, your safe's open. Instead they were using these digital safes that apparently gave everyone fits, to the point to where production was just like, you know what, it's screwed, just take off running, you guys won. And then they had to double back. So luckily for John A and MJ, they were the first ones there. They had the combination right. And even though their safe was messed up and everyone's safe seemed to be messed up, that they were the ones that actually got everything taken care of. Because I don't know if you noticed, but like the like amount of light outside kept changing in the background. It'd be really dark, and then it'd be like dusk, and then it would be a little bit brighter. And this whole thing happened like right when it's getting dusk, and they didn't, I guess, plan for it going into nighttime. And so that became a whole issue, and it's like you should know like when the sun's going down, like how long the stuff's going to take.
Yeah.
So this is apparently production really screwed up on the end of this, but for John A. and MJ, I don't have a problem. Like, and I think Janelle like walked back some of her comments. She was like, they deserve to win. That
was going to be my next question. Has anybody else come out and said anything?
No.
Okay, well then that
not
makes
as far as. But you got to think as far as the people involved, Janelle's probably the wild card that might not care if she didn't get a call back. Because she's the one that she's like, I got a career. That was last week's episode title,
and she's worried about her back. So she honestly might not come back, because after seeing how difficult not only this season was, but the final, she may have weighed the pros and cons and decided, it's not worth potentially re-injuring her back for another shot, and she may not even get as far as she did if she came back.
Well, I mean, I think what Jake was asking is as far as does she feel like she got an unfair like shake on all of this? And like, I mean, clearly MJ and John A, they were the first ones done. Like, they were the first ones that made it to the puzzle, and they figured it out, and then they ran off, and they were the first ones at the safe. And so, I mean, they may not have been the first ones to finish eating. I have it all written down, but
I don't want to take away from MJ and John A's win. I enjoyed this final. I liked how demanding and physical and mental it was. However, I have two issues.
Well, sorry, I was just going to say, Janelle and Darrell actually ended up finishing the eating first. So they got to their puzzle, the like math, algebra thing first. But they were like clueless, it seemed, on that.
Mm-hmm. I have two issues, potentially. Not a third is not really an issue, but I do have two issues with the final. One, I love that production and TJ were like, let's just spring it on them so they can't prepare. The final starts right here and right now. My issue is Darrell and Janelle had just finished a very, very physical elimination that was draining and exhausting. So they were already put at a disadvantage in the final. That's not fair. I personally think they should have been given the night to rest, and then maybe like wake them up in the middle of the night or at the crack of dawn, TJ walk in the room and say, hey, the final starts now, get dressed. It was not fair to have Janelle and Darrell go through the elimination that they did in the last episode and then immediately have to go into this physical of a final. Two, my issue was Ayanna and Tech, mostly Ayanna, quit. Kind of drug Tech with her. He didn't really have an option. Ayanna quit. John A was about to quit, but MJ kind of talked her off that cliff. John A and MJ did not have to finish the end of phase one.
No.
They once Ayanna quit and John A and MJ made it back to that little main area, TJ told them like, hey, you're in third place, get ready for phase two. I don't think it was really fair that MJ and John A didn't even have to finish.
Well, so as far as the Darrell and Janelle thing, I think that was an issue. The only thing I could think with production is that they were like, phase one is just, it's not anything physical. It's just like one of those, hey, you gotta switch off who can sleep and who has to stand. Like, you're not like doing anything
Well, maybe
physical.
I'm thinking phase 1 was when they had the 4 different sections to run.
That's
back and
the
forth.
next day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was. That's what I'm thinking is phase 1. So then phase 2.
They called that phase 1, but technically the overnight.
The final started with the sleeping thing and somebody standing.
Where you got to
on the
stand on the law. Yeah, exactly. Now, as far as the John A. and MJ thing, I did think it was kind of weird, but like, what's the point? You're just going to waste more daylight at that point, because at that point they know that the 4th place team quit, so they're safe, so they can just take their time walking back and forth to get the. It's just a memory thing, and so like it's just you're just draining more day and resources and stuff like that. Like the thing was the last place team is getting cut, and then it turned out the last place team just quit.
Yeah. Well, I understand. It just them being the one and only team that didn't finish and was just kind of ushered into the next phase, being the ones that win. I don't know, but because they didn't finish, they didn't exert as much energy as the other teams.
I mean, that's all subjective though, because like we don't know exactly how many trips back and forth each team made. They could have made the same amount of trips or more.
And then you could argue they did even more work because they were the last one still going.
Yeah, and so I want to try to find the one problem that I actually do agree with the finale is that I can't remember the amount it was. I'm trying to because someone said it in our Slack group. But you know, Melinda and Nehemiah won phase 1, and like they didn't seemingly get rewarded for it very much at all. Like, you know, you didn't get eliminated, but
because they got all of their mandala pieces first.
Yeah, they were the first team.
Yeah, so they didn't get any kind of advantage for the next phase, is what you're saying.
Yeah, somebody said that they actually did, but we didn't.
Did they just cut it out?
I guess because there was a whole puzzle on day 2 or phase 2 that they cut out, and they got a 1 minute head start for phase 2.
That's not much.
No. But yeah, I mean, let's we kind of sporadic on this. I mean, do you want to just go through the notes like normal? Do you want to just hit like highlights of what we feel about the finale? Because I mean, everyone's watched it at this point.
Yeah, we don't need to do a rehash of what happened.
Yeah. I'm just gonna scan my notes and see if there's anything that sticks out as far as I did like that you had in phase 1. Because there's nothing to talk about with the sleeping and like stand sleep thing. We've seen that a million times. Like, I don't mind doing that. So they did have the only thing I'm going to say about this sleep stand thing is they cut it in a way to where Nehemiah farted right in a music break.
Right.
And did you catch that?
I did.
I did not.
You didn't?
No.
It was like, and then Nehemiah farts, and then it comes back in with whatever was happening. It was, I mean, like, he didn't do it to music. They did it after the fact.
No, I didn't catch it.
Anyway, they, it's a 2-phase final, not counting the overnight thing, and they had the nucleus, which is, I guess, I don't know why it's called a nucleus other than it's in the middle.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, that's not a nucleus.
But the nucleus is the brains, right?
So we have the nucleus, and you have to go there first to know what to do in the different 3 like legs of the phase 1, which I agree with Jake. I like that you can do it in whatever order, because the final last season for All Stars was everyone did the same thing in the same order, and it's just you had to wait on each other to get to the next thing, and then you switch partners all the time, and so this one, that's where Nehemiah and Melinda took off down that blue trail right away instead of going to the nucleus first, and they get that cave and they have no idea what's going on.
Well, they were supposed to follow the black arrow to the nucleus, and then suddenly they see a blue arrow, and they're like, oh, well, we need to just follow it anyway.
Yeah.
Where it just totally screwed them. And I thought that was for sure going to do them in.
Honestly, the only one that you could have gotten away with that is if you went to the memory one first and you just ran into that board. Because the other one you had to have bikes.
Right.
And be able to carry the stuff back with bikes. And
one they went to, they needed the flashlights.
The black lights for the cave. And so, yeah, I mean, they were kind of screwed either way. It's honestly miraculous that they ended up coming in first after all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get behind from the jump.
MJ did not know what a mandala was, and then TJ said, "Funny you say that. Neither do I."
Yeah,
Did you know what one was?
I mean, I don't know the actual definition of it. I know it's a very big thing in traditional tattooing, and so I know what mandalas look like. I don't know what
one big pattern.
Yeah, but I don't know what the definition of it means. I don't know what the significance of it is.
I'm gonna look it up.
So yeah, we find out the last place team's eliminated, all that stuff, and Tech and Alyana and Darrell and Janelle do the bikes first, and then Nehemiah and Melinda do the memory. Once they get back, MJ and John A do the decoding one, which is the cave blacklight one. And so only two teams are going in one direction, and they all honestly they picked the hardest one first, was the bike one.
Yeah, that because how long did they say it was? 2.5 miles there, and then
yeah, I don't remember the
4 or 5 or 5 mile round trip.
Well, you can only carry 2 pieces at a time, and there are 12 pieces, so that's 6 trips.
So what you're talking
probably I'd say minimum 12 miles.
Yeah,
if that fits at 2 miles round trip.
Somebody's listening to us talk about that and probably thinking bro, I bike 12 miles every morning.
But yet not in and that's
in the woods.
That's the other thing with this final, and also chained together. And that's the other thing with this final is I was for an all-stars final, for guys and for all contestants, guys and girls that are not in their physical prime anymore. Darrell and some of these guys are in Janelle are in incredible shape, but they're not 25 anymore. Mm-hmm. Most of these are 40, and it's I don't mind it being this level, and what I like that there was an eating challenge. I liked that, it was all different sorts of stuff. I wish we would have got to see what that other puzzle was that they cut out. But
a mandala is a symbol of the universe for many Buddhists and Hindus. Most mandalas have colorful, detailed geometric patterns or designs.
I knew it's symmetrical.
And they are a type of religious and spiritual art with a deep significance for many people. The word itself simply means circle in Sanskrit.
Well,
you learn something new every day.
I could have done without
Sanskrit. Yeah, I just I knew it was geometric to where it all follows one side mirrors the other and all that stuff. So. There's not a lot of things. Everyone kind of does their own thing. MJ and John A figure out the decode thing really fast after one trip.
John A figures out basically the key to the key with that puzzle. She's looking at you got to line up the single dots and then the double dots without even having to really work very hard.
Yeah, they got that done really fast, and just kind of random notes along the way. I did think it was kind of funny that Alyana refused to get out of the way for Darrell and Janelle, even though she was they were taking up the whole road.
Yeah, he told her to get over, and she said she got over as far as she could. And I was like, she did not get over nearly as far as she could.
Yeah, that was a different time. I was talking about another time when they were all picking up the letters, and she was like, "You're gonna have to go around me if you want to," because he was like, "Can you move over so we can go by?" Yeah, but that time she was just blocking the path.
He said he knew what she was doing.
Yeah, but I don't blame her. You're playing for $500,000.
Yeah, at that point, I don't blame her either. But now, I just think it's funny.
By Hand's logic, $500,000 isn't enough to do anything. So
no, not to take pictures in Crocs.
No.
Hand, did you see? I found them. I found white fuzzy Crocs.
Did you buy them?
I'd like to.
Did you buy them?
I'd like to.
Why
Zach.
didn't you?
Hand,
why didn't you?
He heard my voice in the back of his mind.
Han, what are you going to do if I show up to podcast in a week or two and I'm wearing those white fuzzy Crocs?
I'm going to kick you out of my house.
You can't.
Well, that's not true because I have 3 pair already.
Right.
I'm gonna throw them in my fire pit.
You know what's wild is he has 3 pair, and there's 3 of us.
That's true.
No.
That is wild.
No.
Would you just slip on a pair of Zach's Crocs for $500,000?
No.
That's so stupid.
That's so dumb.
That's just dumb.
That's just yeah. You're just feeding into a bit now, Han.
Yeah.
This can't be real. Like that can't be
not.
for real. If a man walked up to you, laid down $500,000 cash on your
if he laid down $30, like you're doing it.
No.
He said slip on a pair of mine for
Just slip 'em on.
$30.
just slip
For
them on.
$30. No.
You are a lunatic.
No.
That is something's wrong with you.
For how much I hate feet, my own included, I really, really detest men's feet.
It's $500,000.
It is. It doesn't matter. It is something so repulsive to me.
Hey, would you slide on a pair of Zach's Crocs for $5? Yeah, okay.
For $30.
For $30, would you do it for $30? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, because she's not a lunatic.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
I don't care.
That's insane.
It comes to a point where I have to say no out of spite because I hate Crocs that much.
Yeah. Well, Melinda falls and twists her ankle, which I thought at that point they might be done.
I thought for sure she was going to have to quit because she couldn't get up.
Yeah. Well, the ankle sprains are one of those weird things where as long as you keep moving, you're good. Like a lot of times,
once you get off of it, you're screwed.
Yeah. Once you get the pressure off and it starts swelling, you're done. Like overnight is when it's it's awful.
I wonder what it looked like after, like the day after the final.
I've had more ankle sprains than I can ever count, and I've had to do physical therapy for ankles and stuff, and it's typically the type of thing where you roll it hurts really, really, really bad, and then especially with like basketball and stuff, after like 5 minutes you can most of the time play through it and you feel fine, but then once you take the shoes off and get home and get your weight off of it, it hurts and swells so much.
I gotta tell you, Zach, I'm happy for you, man. All the turmoil you've come through with those ankles.
Yeah. Honestly, like
I'm surprised they're still there.
I used to have to wear huge like active ankle, like the brand, like where you couldn't roll them, like when we play basketball and stuff, and I don't wear any of it anymore. And I haven't really had any problems other than like really rarely.
It's the tennis.
Well, no, I specifically got shoes for tennis that are made to where they have like an extra wide part around the like outer edge of the foot so you don't roll. Because a lot of the shoes have that.
Mine do that too because I have always been notorious for really bad ankle sprains. My dad did too. Like it's hereditary.
Mine's all from skateboarding
and knees. You got bad knees too, Han, and you can't.
No,
swim.
like it's like a thing. Like my dad said that I have hereditary weak ankles.
Well, I don't think that's my case. Mine's just because I was skated too much and I kept doing stuff that I didn't have any business doing and just destroyed my ankles from the time I was like 15 to 20.
You started doing parkour well before it became like an internet sensation.
I never did parkour.
Man, you should have seen him. That was bizarre.
Have you ever tried parkour?
No, I'm trying to protect these ankles.
I tried it one time when that episode
you
of The Office...
You can't even jump.
What are you talking about?
When that episode of The Office came out, because I remember watching it for the first time. I went to school and everybody was doing parkour all over the school, in classrooms, in the hallway, and I tried doing stuff, and I always got hurt.
I would pay $500,000 to watch you do parkour.
She probably wouldn't
You
do
wouldn't
it
do it for $500,000.
some weird reason. Yeah.
She's thinking about it.
Jake, I would do parkour for you for free.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't even charge you.
Can we put this on Patreon or something? Just do it like, Zach, you and I can roll around with some cameras and just shoot it.
Well, we know that it's not like she couldn't even do a somersault. We've already talked about this.
Right. She almost broke her neck trying to do it.
Yeah, and by like a lot of like parkour stuff is when you land,
you have to roll.
Especially from the big jumps, you have to roll that because otherwise
that's probably why I kept getting hurt.
Otherwise, you're gonna shatter your like shins and you're gonna shoot like your.
I had shin splints all through high school.
Well, it wasn't from parkour and jumping.
It was from tennis.
If y'all want to see Hannah do parkour, drop in the comments below. Let us know.
Yeah.
I have a question, not parkour related. So later on in phase 1, Ayana she's like, my legs feel like jello. I can't go anymore. I just can't do it anymore. Before that, when they're in the cave trying to decode or memorize the numbers and colors and stuff, Tech gets really frustrated. Yeah. Like as soon as they get in there, and walks out of the cave and says he's not even going to get in there and try and memorize anything. Did you think that this was foreshadowing to them quitting?
Tech wanted to find something to write down all of the numbers with, and Ayana said, Tech, that's against the rules. And he was like, nah, we'll find something. And she's like, we can't do that. And I was like, yeah, she's probably right. Like, they're not allowed to, like, find paper and, like, write down stuff like this.
But he, like, gets really mad at her for that.
Listen, he's had to be Ayana's partner for a while now. Like, I don't blame Tech for anything that would have happened in this one. Like, she is such a, like, again, legitimate, like, serial killer vibes from the whole salad thing that, like, I can't imagine trying to be her partner in a stressful scenario. Because I wouldn't know what she was going to do.
Yeah.
They at least brought the right thing. The one like big screw up in this phase 1, I was going to say round 1, was Darrell and Janelle take the blacklight flashlights to the memory checkpoint. And they're like, this isn't doing anything.
And Darrell takes a flashlight and he shines it on the puzzle, and he's like, I don't see anything.
They just read the wrong notes or whatever, and they went down the wrong trail. And so all that included, they still came in second in phase 1, you know.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, so let's see. Nehemiah and Melinda are the first ones done, which is still kind of crazy. And then Darrell and Janelle are in second. Ayana and Tech just quit because she's done. Honestly, she was, just objectively speaking, out of everyone there, she seemed the most out of shape overall for the final. And the finals are, like, we've seen, like, really incredibly, like, in shape people, like, phase out in these finals just because you can't take it. And so just coming back after, however many years and not being in this type of whatever training and all that, because
I almost can't believe that she quit, because remember her first season, she was so mad that she slept in her uniform and yelled at everybody, and that's kind of like, that was her famous throwback scene. This whole season, she's been all, I'm here to compete, I'm here to get to the final and to give it my all. And when she and Tech were voting for who was going to go into elimination, she said that she wanted the tougher team in the final, the team that really wanted to fight as hard as they could. And you would think with that competitor spirit that she has, that wouldn't allow her to quit. Also, she quit not just the challenge, she quit in the middle of a final. And TJ did not rip her a new one for quitting or for quitting a final. Well, I was shocked by that.
To that extent, I think there are a little bit of extenuated circumstances because they knew the last place team was going to be eliminated. And at this point, they were, I think, in last place. And so that's probably why it was a little bit more lenient, because they knew that one team was going to go home regardless. It wasn't like they just quit and now there's just an empty spot for someone else who could have been there. Like, someone was getting purged. And
I understand the purge, but they voluntarily left.
Also, if you're TJ and you've seen, like, how, like, insane her like outbursts have been, like, you're just gonna just let it happen. Like, you're not gonna provoke her.
Well, I don't know. There's been rumors that we've heard for a couple weeks that she'll never be invited back to the challenge because supposedly some cast members just absolutely hated living with her.
I haven't heard that she's not going to be invited back. I did hear that everyone hated like her being like they're like she's the worst person we've ever lived with.
Well, I just deductive reasoning. I was thinking, oh well, maybe those rumors of her not coming back stem from this. She quit the final, and then just added sprinkles on top is the fact that she was a nightmare to live with. But I do think that her being hard to live with, hard to live with in the house, and quitting in the middle of the final, I don't think she'll ever be back.
So the rumor is not that she won't be invited back; it's that the cast wouldn't like for her to be back.
Okay, maybe that's it.
Yeah, but the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak, and she reminds me a lot of, we live in Tennessee, Zach. All three of us.
Just me.
Yeah.
We grew up in small town Tennessee, and we grew up around a lot of these like guys that barely weighed 100 pounds and thought they could whoop anybody, right?
Your brother's one of them.
My brother's one of them, and so you put them up against anyone, and that's not the case. So I think the same thing applies here, right? Like, look, I get. It's like when we play basketball. I get out there and I think I can run with everybody. Truth of the matter is, that shot don't fall a lot of times, and so and the truth of the matter is here is she can talk a lot, but she's in as bad a shape as John A.
I'd say she's
not worse.
Yeah.
No,
say because John A. looks way more fit,
and John A. did really well in the final last season, and she's come back in even better shape this season.
Yeah, she looks totally different this season.
I think again, I think that to Jake's quotient or whatever on people, like Alana is one of the most watchability, like as far as watchability goes, like she's through the roof, like as far as like she's gonna cause problems, she's gonna honestly be really good in like competitive parts of it, like in eliminations, like nobody wanted to go against her.
She's gonna eat your food,
yes,
like on purpose.
She's gonna cause crazy drama for no reason. That's her big like upsell on someone like Josh, is that like nobody's afraid of Josh in an elimination, but after that first one and with Ayanna, like nobody wanted to go against her, and then she did the whole thing with, no, we're moms, we're gonna do this, and like took Leah and like guided her through that thing. Like, I mean, her watchability's off the charts, but I don't know if we will see her again or not. I wouldn't mind seeing her again if I'm being totally honest. Just because
you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, she's a loose cannon.
Yeah, like referencing the elimination you just talked about. She was a hero that episode.
And then
then the very next week, she was public enemy number one.
She's like, this is a gift. Yeah. You get to go into elimination. Again, honestly, probably like the top 3 or 4 moments of the season Ayanna was involved with.
Yeah.
Just as far as like what you'll remember.
A lot of fantasy points went her way.
Yeah, I will say also when she did quit, they played O-Town because I wanted all or nothing at all.
It's great. It's a good song. It really is.
It is a good song.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on here, but I definitely have on Patreon. I shot a reality TV pilot with Jacob from O-Town when he lived in Nashville. Me and a couple other people that I went to college with. It didn't get picked up, but
maybe you should try again.
At the time, there were rumors that he was working at like Guitar Center in Nashville, and then we got picked. Like, I don't even remember how, it was through Craigslist or something. We got picked for this project. We got paid for it, and we found out like the day before. They're like, "Oh, this was a guy who was in a band, and it's a band called O-Town." And I was like, "Yeah." I watched Making the Band on ABC when that happened, and it was him and his girlfriend was a dancer for the Nashville Predators, and they had a pet monkey, and we just filmed all of that for like a solid day, and they had a bathroom that was probably like 4 feet wide by like 10 feet long, and it had a bathtub in it, but there was not much room, and we had to get me and another guy with huge cameras, a sound guy, and both of them and the monkey all in there while they gave it a bath while we filmed it. And he told us a lot of stories about Lou Pearlman, who is in jail now. Who is he may be dead, but he was the manager of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys in O-Town and Aaron Carter and all those, and how he was in jail for like the second biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You haven't told me about that.
Yeah, he stole all their money, and also I don't want to. He said some other things about him that are.
You're gonna tell me off mine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Like, it was really cool. We just got to hang out with this guy and like hear all these crazy stories from, I was friends with him and his girlfriend and all that on Facebook for a long time, and then, I don't think I'm friends with any of them anymore. But, I got a special place in my heart for O-Town, and Jacob he honestly was a really cool guy. Like, I'm pretty sure he probably still lives in Nashville.
Do you think he still works at that Guitar Center?
I don't even know if he worked by the time that we filmed that, but I think he was working there like right before, which honestly, like, that's a pretty humbling fall. He had like dreads and stuff, like didn't even look like the same guy anymore.
Okay. Cool.
But he was a cool guy. Like, no issues at all. He was just mad that Ashley Parker Angel.
Yes.
O-Town had been offered a lot of money to do a bunch of reunion stuff, and Ashley wouldn't do it. And the other 4 guys wanted to do it, and Ashley wouldn't. And they're like, okay, well, instead of like $10,000 for this appearance, we'll give you like $2,000, and because like we need all 5 of you. Yeah, and so they were mad at him.
I would be too.
Yeah. And then O-Town got back together. They're still making music, and it's just the 4 of them. It's the other 4, and not Ashley, because I guess after that MTV show, he was done with all them.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. So that's my O-Town story. I'll still listen to that album. I don't mind it. So that's when we get to John A. and MJ. Didn't have to finish phase 1. Apparently, there was another thing in phase 2 that got cut out. Who knows why or what? I guess it didn't have any bearing on what really happened.
Was it before or after the food?
I think it was before. I mean, I don't know that for sure. I'm just going off of like what I read in our Slack group. But I did like that the next phase was an eating challenge, because that's always kind of a big equalizer. Like we saw, like Fessy just can't do it. Like,
wouldn't do it.
He blamed it on Casey, but he was not going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
And so it's tostadas with fish eyes, cricket burritos, nachos with roaches, and then a glass of blood. Which, honestly, like, they did have like guacamole and stuff on there. That might.
It isn't really not that bad.
It probably wasn't as bad as some of the other ones. Well,
I think it was Darrell that said the burrito was really good.
There's one season where, like, I want to say it was like Anissa and Marie and whatever. Like, they had to eat like the head of a giant like rodent. And
it definitely didn't look as bad as a lot of things we've seen over the years.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't good, but it didn't seem as awful as some of the other ones we've seen. And so MJ threw up a whole lot.
Oh, bless his heart. He struggled. Melinda threw up like a big chunk of something, picked it up off the ground, and then popped it back in her mouth.
Hey, she wanted that money. You got to do what you got to do.
Did she have to do that?
Yeah.
Did she have to pick up that piece off the ground?
I don't know.
I don't know, because the thing is, like, otherwise you could just like take big bites
and then
and
spit
like,
it.
Oh no, I threw it up, and you're not really eating anything.
Yeah, I wonder if she did it just to be safe, because it was a pretty significant size piece of whatever she was eating.
Zach kills a fly in the house with a fly swatter.
Mm-hmm.
No,
you picking it up and eating it for $500,000.
Absolutely.
No.
I would say don't
diseases.
I gotta tell you,
germs.
The only thing I wouldn't do that with would be a slug or a snail, because I've read a story about a kid that ate one of those on a dare, and it gave him like some crazy form of like meningitis that they can just carry with them, and it killed him.
Yeah.
No. And so
wasn't he paralyzed for a while first?
Yeah, like.
He was like paralyzed and then bedridden and then he died.
Yeah. So a fly, yeah, absolutely.
No,
at some point this becomes a character issue.
Flies eat.
I've swallowed a fly.
Poop.
I've swallowed
Flies
a fly
eat
before.
Poop, and dead things, and I do not want poop and dead things inside of my mouth and my stomach, ever.
You know, some people like butt stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So.
I hope they're not dead.
That could potentially be a lot of poop right there.
I think. Sure. If you want to take it to that.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can get really sick from that.
Right.
Okay. Also, I think there's a difference in just the vague term butt stuff and then eating poop and stuff. Which is what.
Yeah, we're not talking about eating poop.
Well, that's what it sounded like you're talking about.
That is what it sounded like.
No, we're talking about like eating butt.
We can't get into all this because this is not for the kids.
No, it's not.
For the kids, I will not eat a fly. No way.
Okay.
No way.
That's unbelievable.
Because
unbelievable.
I have too many family members and very good friends
that have all died.
I bet you would eat that fly for $500,000.
That have worked in emergency rooms and seen patients.
If I called your mom and said, "Hey, for $500,000,
call her right now.
I got
She's
right
on her
here.
phone.
We got a nurse in the room.
Oh yeah, it's a nurse.
Hey, how dangerous is it to?
Well, that's a different
Hold
question.
on, let me get this information first. So,
okay,
how dangerous is it to eat a singular fly?
a house fly.
No, nothing. What's that? Protein.
Yeah.
So, so you would eat a fly for $500,000, $50. No, $100.
50 would be pushing it. I'd probably do it for 100.
Yeah. So, we got the nurse of the year over here who said you're totally fine eating a fly.
Yeah.
Let me finish what I was trying to say. Friends and family that have seen patients in the ER or at the hospital that have MAGGOTSs.
That's not the same.
No, that's not the same.
But those are.
Yeah,
but that is one of my biggest.
You know what?
Yeah, okay.
You know a dead fly can't
produce
produce those maggots inside of you.
Also, he said in our house we don't have open infections in our house. Like it's not in an area where that would thrive or live.
You're creating a problem that's not there.
100%, which is the entirety of our relationship.
No, but especially my friend Lisa that Jake, you know, Zach, you have met her before.
I probably know her as well as Jake does.
She used to work at the hospital, and she had a patient one time that had them eating the patient from the inside out.
I promise you there were bigger issues there than her eating a fly, if that's the case.
Yes.
Way bigger issues.
It's just that kind of stuff traumatizes me, and I don't like germs, and I don't like dirty things, because at the root of that is death.
Let's talk about death for a second.
Let's not. I'm afraid of it.
Let's say that mine and Zach's life is on the line, and all you have to do is eat a fly. That's it.
While wearing a pair of Crocs.
While wearing a pair of Crocs. That's it. That's
I'd say you guys lived pretty.
Yeah, we'd be dead. We would do it for her.
Full lives.
Yeah.
One of you has seen the world. One of you has a great
Utah.
dog.
Yeah.
Has seen Utah.
If she was in like the movie Saw, like she'd just be like, you know what, just kill me right away. Like I
think I've told you that before.
I don't think we've ever discussed this before.
I've never watched the movie Saw, but I have seen one clip. I guess it was on TV one time, and I was like scrolling through channels, and I saw something, and I was like, oh, what's this?
Did you see Saw?
Yes, I've seen one clip from one of the movies. It was like the guy was like handcuffed and had to cut off his foot.
That's the very first movie. And I haven't even seen them.
And things like that traumatize me. I don't watch scary anything, no horror, nothing. But it's burned into my memory, and I think I've told you privately, Zach. If I ever was kidnapped and it was some crazy psycho person that wanted me to do something like that.
We've never had this discussion.
I would say, why don't you just kill me? Just be done with it. I can't do things like that.
Well,
I have a weak stomach.
You don't have very much.
I have a weak heart,
survival instinct. I'll give you that.
All right, look, here's the deal. MJ and John A win this thing, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you couldn't eat any of this stuff for $500,000.
I could do the burrito.
Good. Well, I'm glad you could eat that.
Burrito. The cricket burrito.
Yeah, because they're cooked, aren't they?
Maybe.
Unbelievable.
I mean, they're not alive, but what do you think the worst part of it is? I'd probably
blood.
The blood's probably. I think the nachos with the roaches on them would be rough.
That would be really
those are
tough.
big. Those crickets are small. And there was a lot of guacamole. It looked like.
I've seen enough of Good Mythical Morning with You, and they eat crazy stuff on there all the time.
They do struggle with blood.
And Rhett, who can eat just about anything on the planet, blood will get him every time, even if it's not the predominant ingredient in something. He tastes it immediately and will vomit. I think blood would be the hardest thing of this to get through.
See, in Kenya, where the Maasai live, which is a tribe of Kenya, they have hundreds and thousands of cows. They think that God gave them every cow on the earth, and so they don't have a problem taking them from other people because they think they're theirs. But they a lot of times don't have as much food, and they've figured out a way to like nick like a big vein on the cows and
without killing it.
And bleed out blood, and they'll like coagulate it in like milk, and they'll like eat that for like nutrition, and that's how they live sometimes. Yeah, it's wild. We went in their houses and stuff, and it's
that's insane.
Yeah, I didn't drink blood or anything like that.
I hope not.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Blood would be rough, but it was so like the amount of blood compared to like the amount of food is a lot. So yeah. Anyway, we get past all that.
They played "Steal My Sunshine."
I'm sure.
I love that song.
Yeah.
But I love that song.
I couldn't tell you who sang that song though. I don't have a clue. Yeah, MJ and John A, like, again, they finish second, but they figure out their problem first, and then they get to the safe. We already talked about all that. All the production screw-ups, all that type of stuff. But, I mean, again, huge shout-out to, I mean, if you were to...
Yeah.
Then if you were to say, all right, Iana and Tech are out of Phase 1, here are your teams for Phase 2, they would have had the worst odds.
Yeah, I fully believed them to come in third place.
I mean, it's just shout out to them for figuring out that math problem.
Shout out to John A, because she asked MJ, she's like, "Do you get any of this?" And he said no. Yeah. And she cleared her mom strength mind, and she did it herself.
I mean, again, like it's almost unbelievable how good she's done in these 2 seasons compared to how she did on the other seasons we've seen her on.
It's like she's a different person.
It is. Like, it's not even like... It's unbelievable. And apparently Latarian's similar, but Latarian's not had the amount of, like, wins that she...
When it comes to the challenge, this is like the culmination of it all for her, right? The culmination of that transformation. And so, shout out. I think it was regardless of whatever mishaps happened, they happened to everybody.
Yes.
And they won.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just if you're production, you can't have $500,000 riding on the electronics in a safe that you bought down there. Like, it's just like that's way too risky. You gotta foolproof it.
Why not just make it a puzzle to get to like open the safe, not that be the end of it, maybe like have a flag or something, and then it's a foot race to TJ,
or just
because that never fails,
or just make a fake safe out of plywood and just have them turn to the right numbers and be like, you got it, say the numbers out loud while you're turning. Like, it's so easy to, like, it didn't have to be a real safe.
The edit that we got, obviously, production probably didn't want us to know about the truck and the driving back and forth, la-di-da. So the edit that we as the viewers received, it looked so close. Darrell went from never losing a final to coming in second place back to back.
Which still though, like that's still a heck of a run for him. Like to the finals, like if he makes it, he's either getting first or second.
It's also a different era, Darrell too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's like 40 now.
I agree. He said earlier in this season in a confessional, he's like, I'm getting on up there. I don't know how many more of these I'll be able to do because it's so hard to be away from my kids, my family. Do you think he'll come back for another season, or do you think he'll be able to break his streak and win another one before hanging up his hat?
I honestly don't know if he's on All-Stars 3. I haven't really looked into the casting on that. I did like that we got a quick little teaser that it's like TJ's just in Panama and he's like, it's coming soon or something. And like, I thought that was
different.
I thought that was kind of neat, but I don't know if he's on All-Stars 3. It wouldn't surprise me if he's not, just for the sake that he's been on the last 2.
Yeah.
Same with like John A. Same with Latarian, Nehemiah, like all those people that have been on the last 2.
Give them a break so they get fresh faces in.
Yeah, you might see some people that were on 1 come back that weren't on 2 and whatever. But yeah, I do think you've got to change it up a little bit. It can't just be Nehemiah, Latarian, Darrell, Kendall, John A. I'm trying to think who was on every season. I mean, both seasons so far. Katie. Yeah, I don't think Katie deserves to be back, if I'm being honest.
She quit.
But yeah, just like those type of people, I don't know. We're not going to get into All-Star 3 casting and all that.
No, because I don't know who's. I don't know who's on it.
I don't even think we have a date, but it wouldn't surprise me if it comes out
next month.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say before the next challenge season's out. Because I don't even think they've started filming the one after Spies, Lies, and Allies.
Maybe like next 60 days?
It wouldn't surprise me if All-Stars 3 came out maybe like the end of March.
Okay.
Because it's already filmed.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. They just got to edit it. Now, the other one, Challenge 38? Is it 38?
That would
main
be it.
show?
Yeah, 38.
Calls have gone out, but I haven't heard anything about people flying out, leaving, quarantining, all that type of stuff, which typically we at least hear about when that stuff starts. I believe because of how like they've been churning these out back to back, they're giving a little bit more of a break. And I think from what I had heard originally, the next actual season wasn't even going to start filming until like March.
Oh, wow.
And they were trying to give a little bit more of a break. So I think we'll see All-Stars 3 before we see the next main show season. I don't even think that's in question at this point. But we do have to figure out what show we're going to do, what season we're going to do in the in-between time, which will, again, our Patreon supporters get to decide that.
We also have to figure out who won
True.
Fantasy.
I was going to say, though, for who smashed some heads, I think we can unanimously give it to the Team Nashville.
Team Nashville.
Yeah.
I legitimately cheered when they won because I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I mean,
2 people who've never won before.
You never would have thought.
Yeah.
No, but it's Team Nashville. That's why I cheered.
Well,
I was rooting for the home team.
I said John A. and MJ all day long because they brought the challenge titles to Tennessee.
Well, and I mean, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but this is a good time to be part of Team Tennessee right now.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
We got room.
Titans. Derrick Henry's back. He'll be back Saturday.
A lot of people excited about that.
The Grizzlies are the #1 team in the NBA according to NBA TV and ESPN and all that.
Hey, our patron Grimm doesn't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm. I don't care.
Tennessee wins by double digits this weekend.
Yeah. So, let's and for who got their head smashed?
I put Ayanna because that final broke her competitor spirit.
I would say Tech because his partner broke his competitive spirit.
That's a good one.
I'll give it. You know what? Production, man, because they got to get it together.
Yeah.
Like they almost really screwed this final up. Because it came down to the last thing, and they sent 2 people off running down a runway with no money, and then had to pick them up in a truck and bring them back. And
what a mess.
So, that was my pick. But yeah, we can get into the final fantasy stuff. So just to recap, the way it stands is Hannah's in third place with 295 points. I am in second with 1,160, and Jake is in first with 1,210. So Jake and I are separated by 50 points.
But this outcome could shift some things.
I have one of the winners.
And Zach has none of the winners.
I don't. Yeah, this was the one team that if I didn't have a winner, it would be the worst case scenario for me. But I'm glad that they won.
All right. Well, one. I guess not final shout out to our sponsor, but shout out. Put a shirt on, get wet, Super Soaker.
Super Soaker.
Yeah. So 25 points to everybody. They get a congratulations from TJ.
Are you gonna do a lot of these? Because I really hate these.
No.
Because one, it does not change the outcome of the game at all.
Right.
And it just makes me do a lot of typing.
Yeah, well, just you know how to copy and paste?
I do, but that doesn't matter.
You should be able to Shift Command P.
No.
Okay.
Command C, Command V. Command P would be
print.
To print.
Okay.
I don't want to print this.
Okay, have you got that?
Also, Shift Command P. I don't even know what that would do. I just did it.
Bless you.
I don't know. I don't know what it did.
Ayana's life changed when she said yes to this. 10 points.
Okay.
Tech can't sleep for poop. 10 points.
MJ could, though. We didn't even talk about that.
Darrell was tasked with passing out everybody's clothes. He's doing chores. -5.
Okay.
Let's see. Nehemiah and Melinda take a wrong turn. It's a -15 right there. Let's see. We're going to give 20 points to Tech and Ayana because they were the first to the mandala.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I wrote down here they did take a wrong turn. Did they take a wrong turn somewhere? Tech and Ayana?
No.
No,
Okay.
Melinda and Nehemiah did.
Yeah, I already gave. Okay, well, I don't know what that note is.
I think you may have just been like, oh, they went this way. Because at first they just were like going down a path, and we thought it was wrong, and then it ended up for sure being
okay.
wrong.
Okay, well, MJ ate shrooms, 5 points.
Okay.
Ayana is guerrilla warfare, 10 points. I loved this quote by Darrell. It's a 15-pointer. When you lay it down softly. It's very sensual, if you will.
Like the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
But only on Disney Channel.
The love that Melinda and Nehemiah have for each other transcends. 15 points.
Yeah, Hannah didn't realize they were on the same Real World season until that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never clicked.
Hey, I'm going to give Ayana 5 points for not moving for anybody. 10 points for the quote, you want to get in front of me, you're going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We'll give MJ and John A 25 points for being the first to get a mandala piece. Redemption and perseverance. Right?
Yep.
But according to MJ, his legs are gone. -10. -5 for each of them.
Yep.
Melinda's hurt. -5. Yep, it's a rolled ankle. -10. Ayana's hurting too. -10.
But I think that was just in general.
Tech and Ayana are the last to get a mandala piece. -25.
Jeez.
Nehemiah says save the palace. -15. According to him, though...
Oh, we did have...
Yeah.
It was kind of 50-50 in our Slack group, as if people thought it was Save the Palace or Safety Palace.
I saw that.
Okay,
But
thank you.
Some of
Thank
it was
you.
because the closed captioning just defaulted to Safety Palace, but...
Maybe that's why I thought that's what it was.
Okay, well, we did not watch with closed captioning.
I
so.
did.
No, you didn't. The closed captioning on Paramount Plus is awful. Because we were watching the Survivor season on Netflix first, and then we went to Paramount Plus, and it's so much worse on Paramount Plus. I don't know what program they're using, but it's not good.
Everyone that doesn't hate my gut, stand with me. #Safety Palace.
Okay, well,
Safety Palace.
let's see. According to Nehemiah, Melinda is a rock star. 15 points because she kept going on a rolled ankle.
Yeah.
15 points to Darrell for the quote, reading is fundamental. But he didn't read.
Sure.
-10. We're almost done with these fantasy points, by the way. Not a lot to give out. Hey, MJ got a fist bump from TJ. 15 points.
Hey.
You wrote 56.
Something about Darrell and mosquitoes. 5 points.
You don't know why.
There was a reason. I just
he did. I remember him saying something about. He said this is the most mosquitoes he's ever seen in his life, or something like that.
We'll give Tech and Ayanna 10 points for their very brotherly, sisterly-esque spat. We'll give Nehemiah and Melinda 100 points for completing Phase 1 first.
Okay.
We'll give 52 Darrell and Janelle for finishing second.
Give me a second. Okay.
Ayanna and John A want to quit. That's -20 alone.
To both.
To both. We'll give 5 points back to John A because she didn't quit. -50 though because Ayanna did quit.
-52 Ayanna.
To Ayanna. And then we're going to give a -100 to Ayanna and Tech because they go home first.
Okay.
They eliminated themselves.
And we'll give MJ and John A 25 points for being third. I totally forgot. Here we go. All right. Sit tight, everybody. So I had to finish this episode in my girlfriend here, Amanda's vehicle, and I was taking notes on her phone. I forgot she texted the rest of these to me. So I was freaking out because I was like, did I not take any more notes? So here we go.
Nothing for Phase 2.
Yeah. Here we go.
That's why he said they were almost done.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Okay? Well done. 15 points to Darrell for the quote, it tastes like beans and some crunchy. Yeah.
Crap.
Melinda pukes and eats her own food. I'll give her 5 points. According to Nehemiah, that's his proudest moment of her. 10 points to Melinda. Okay. 25 points to Darrell and Janelle for finishing that first. Actually, you know what? They need to get 100, don't they? Because I gave 100 to Nehemiah and Melinda.
You did.
You did.
So 100 to Darrell and Janelle then.
Okay.
Instead of 25.
I got it.
There is excruciating pain going up Melinda's leg. -5.
I don't even remember that.
Well, her ankle.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just don't remember saying it at this point.
John A clears her mind. 5 points. Melinda is so sleep deprived. -10. MJ and John A win. That is 1,000 points to each.
1,000.
I'm on the board.
We did that for Spies, Lies, and Allies. We gave the winners 1,000.
Put 1,000 points on John A's name.
Hold on. We did that because we had definitive second and third place as well, and we don't have definitive things. Are you giving Darrell and Janelle second? And
Yes.
Okay.
Are we giving Darrell and Janelle second?
That's what I'm wondering because
but that's
that
the
was
thing. I didn't give any second and third place points because there was no.
Yeah, that's
know?
what. That's the big conundrum is you just
Okay, do you think it should be 500 points?
I mean, it's just at this point it's not. I don't think it's going to affect the outcome no matter what between Jake and I because it's such an astronomical number that is not going to be anywhere close. Even if you did 500 and no one else gets anything, because what we had to change the scoring in at the very end of Spies, Lies, and Allies because you had done it 1,000 and then 100, 200.
Right.
And we had to bump that up to where it was 1,500, 250 or something like that. I don't know. It's if you do 1,000, what it's going to mean.
Do 500 apiece, but I can't give the other 4 any points because they didn't finish. So it's just
I'm fine with
it's
that.
just assuming that one team finished second and the other finished third.
Yeah, that was the thing with this one is there was no definitive second and third, and also, what was I gonna say? I'm just typing right now. I had a thought on this.
I'm fine with 500 and none to anybody else.
Okay, that's perfect.
It basically just in just for reference for our scoring going forward. It's gonna make just whoever wins the final, basically that team's gonna win, like the fantasy points, because it's such a huge amount.
All right, so 500 each then.
I did that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get Mario sounds from MJ, 10 points. They get a plane ride with TJ. Did I say Mario sounds from TJ? I meant MJ.
From MJ.
From
Okay.
MJ. You said MJ.
Plane ride with TJ. That's 25 points each to MJ and John A. Negative 20 to Darrell. He has now lost 2 years in a row. And 10 points to John A because she took Yes's crown. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points for the week. Not a lot to give out, but I think it's going to be interesting. So, one last time, shout out to our sponsor. Put a shirt on, get wet, Super Soaker.
Super Soaker.
We'll be right back. And we are back. Again, final shout out of the season to our sponsor. Put a shirt on, get wet, Super Soaker.
Super Soaker.
Yeah, again, not a ton of scoring. Two people just kind of ran away with it, obviously, just because who won. Darrell ended up with 190.
Yeah.
And then John A ended up with 600.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you get 500 for winning. So for the week, Hannah got 790. She tripled basically her scoring from this one thing. Nehemiah ended up with 110. Janelle ended up with 175. Ayana ended up with negative 115.
Well, she quit, Zach.
I know.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with 170 for the week. And then MJ 585, which honestly, like, considering you got 500 for winning, is not that great. And then Tech got negative 60, and then Melinda got 125. By the way, Melinda did almost nothing, and then the last 4 weeks has been triple digits every week.
Super solid, yeah.
Yeah, and so Jake, you ended up with 650 for the week, and so for the season, Hannah's in third with 1085. I'm in second with 1330, and then Jake is in first with 1860.
I got quadruple digits before the end of the season, and you guys didn't think it would happen.
Well, that's what so we were talking before we actually, you guys are going to hear this. We're going to have to kind of figure out how to balance the scoring of the final, which I don't have a problem with how this one worked out, but it's just it's so weird because it's to that extent. Hannah has had one. I don't think you could have made a worse team if you tried to get a lowest score. We talked about this last week.
I understand, but part of it was I was screwed.
What? You had the first pick.
Yeah, but I didn't know all my people were going to get DQ'd.
What? Well, we all had people that got DQ'd, but you had. I mean,
you didn't have anybody DQ'd.
I didn't. I just had eliminated. But we.
Jake's partner Cassie sent my partner Kahada home.
Yeah, but
it was stupid.
But she wasn't my partner.
She is Jake's partner. But I mean, Darrell just it was the same thing. Darrell and Brad, they were our number one picks, and then neither one of them scored a lot, honestly, throughout the season. And it's just you went from one of the worst scores imaginable to now being 200 and something behind me, which is 250 or so behind me, which is crazy that it played out that way.
I feel justified in it.
I think it's more of a scoring issue than anything. But it's that was the way it broke. I said at the end of last week, I was MJ and John A winning would be my worst case scenario because that was the one team that I didn't have anybody from, and
that's your problem. You chose your team.
I did, but you're blaming it on everything else. I'm not blaming it on who I chose. I think I chose a solid team. It's the way it worked out.
Well, the
Lord was looking out for me and made these numbers come together to where I had a fighting chance.
You still were in third place.
It doesn't matter. I was close.
This is now 2 straight fantasy seasons that I have won.
Yeah.
So I have picked well. My team has played well for me.
Have you rigged it? You're the one doing the points.
That is true.
Y'all really think I rigged this?
You're the one that just said you've won 2 seasons in a row.
You're the one that decided how many points they get in the finals.
Yeah.
And we were 50 points apart, and now we're like 500 points apart.
All right,
guess how many you get for winning. Guess how many you got for winning.
Yeah. All right, well, give them 100 points. Give them 100 points then. Guess who still wins? Me.
Actually, I don't know if that's true. I think you would win. You would win by 30 points if that happened. If they got 100.
Yeah, well, if they're getting triple digits.
Oh, sorry. No, I was off. It'd be 130.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Again, like I still think this season as a whole, I think is a very solid season. I don't know if it was as good as All Stars 1.
No.
Well, you're very on record about the Cohutta situation. You said you didn't even want to watch the show anymore.
I'll open the case back up.
I think the case is closed, and
we don't need to do this.
If you say anything else, you'll be in contempt of court.
I don't care. Take me away. I just left Alcatraz yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Literally, I was at Alcatraz yesterday. I sent you pictures.
Literally, because Alcatraz is an island outside San Francisco.
Alcatraz
Hannah dropping bars over there.
Yeah.
Take what she say. Take me away. I've been to Alcatraz anyway. All day. Yesterday, something. I don't know. Take me away. I was at Alcatraz yesterday.
Yeah.
Bars.
So, again, we will be back with you soon. As far as we're going to be doing some Patreon stuff this week, and then we will be figuring out what season we're going to do during this break in the off season. If you have suggestions, again, it's just got to be something that's either on Netflix or Paramount Plus, something really accessible, not something that is only living on somebody's Google Drive that's not available widely.
But if you have something like that, we might be interested.
We've already been sent all that stuff, and it's just again, like trying to watch those like TV rips of like old seasons that are like 30 minutes long, and it's basically like, hey, who can throw a dart at this balloon? Like, it's not the same show anymore.
That's something we can do in my yard.
Just your yard.
My yard.
Yeah.
This is my house.
Again, we'll be back with you soon with an announcement of what season we are going to be doing next. Again, send your suggestions. And for all of our patrons who entered our giveaway that we were doing on patreon.com/SmashingHeadsPodcast, apparently Patreon was deleting comments that I guess they thought were spam or something like that. So we are tweaking that, and I'm going to be putting an announcement up very soon on what the next step will be, and we're still going to do that. It's just I had like a handful of people that are like, hey, where'd all my submissions go? And I was like, I have no idea. They never showed up for us. And so we will be tweaking that. So if you want to get in on that giveaway, patreon.com/SmashingHeadsPodcast.
This is your saving grace. You were given another chance to submit your funniest, greatest under 1 minute video.
Yeah, and so it's just anyone that is free agents or bloodlines level is available to get this, and we have 3 separate things we're giving away. So again, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll be announcing on there what season we're doing before we record the first episode and going forward. So we don't like doing these over Zoom and things like that, but sometimes you got to do it this way because it's a wild, wild world we live in. So until then,
have a good night, everyone.